Hello, welcome to some more communication education from me, Denise Hill. Listen, I've been in communications for, we'll just say a long time. At some point, when you start saying how many decades it's been, you no longer give yourself the number of years you've been in your industry. Rather, you give yourself the number of years you've been alive, which is also a blessing. But I'm not trying to age myself. Just know I have many, many decades in the media industry as a personality, as a radio host, as a program director, actually programming the content, as a professional speaker, as a speaker coach and trainer, and on and on and on. As a college professor, just literally on and on and on. I've been doing this for a while. And what I always get asked around is how do I promote my message? How do I get the word out about my book? How do I get my message on the radio? How can I get an interview set up so that I can market this event that I have coming up? This is what I want to talk about. I want to give you some information about how the industry operates so that you know best how to approach it. Okay. This will likely be a multi-series recording for you and video. So make sure that you subscribe so that you can continue to get information about it and it can help you, whether you are a teacher, an author, a speaker, a person who just wants to help someone else who's a recording artist get their music out, their information out about their concerts. This can be beneficial to many of you. So let's get right into it, okay? Let's just talk about what you need to know concerning the media when you go to market, promote, or brand yourself. And understand that those are three very different things, okay? Just going to give you some quick definitions. Marketing, that's the process of moving goods and services from concept to consumer, coordinating the product, its price, its placement, its promotion. Marketing is a whole system. It's a whole process where it's using these pieces and these parts to get this thing out, okay? That's different than just promotion. Promotion, that's a series of activities that takes place. Kind of like if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's around to hear, did it really make a sound? Well, if you promoted it, then people will be around to hear it. That doesn't mean they know your product. That doesn't mean they know the price of your product or how to consume it. That's where marketing comes in. Remember? Now, branding goes deeper than both marketing and promotion, because branding, you know how to, you brand a cow, you burn that symbol, that letter into their skin. It's not going anywhere, and everybody knows this is that. This belongs to this cattle rancher, and this, it. Same thing with your product when it comes to branding. Same thing with your service when it comes to branding. Same thing with your name when it comes to branding, or your company's name when it comes to branding. It's a series of all of those marketing activities and promotional activities and name recognition and constantly putting images in the mind of the consumer and constantly putting the name on the tongue of the consumer, and a lot of those activities that sear who you are into and what you do and offer into the mind of the consumer. Okay? All of those to be successful, whether you're marketing, promoting, or branding, all of those require some form of media activity. Now, there's plenty of different types of media, right? There are newspapers, there are radio stations, television stations, talk shows on those stations, news shows on those stations, dedicated to just a specific city, national ones as well, or just regional ones. There's also social media, which now is global, right? And so you got to know kind of what your purpose is. Am I trying to market? Am I trying to just promote something real quick? Or am I trying to brand myself for the long term, so that you know which one of those you kind of need to utilize and approach to get the outcome that you're looking for? And most people just try to jump on any opportunity that they have. For example, I know people who know me, and so the first thing they'll say is, hey, can I get on your radio show? Not realizing that getting on my radio show is not going to help you one single bit, because your product does not work with my audience, but you just saw an opportunity to get on the radio. So if you're not thinking about that, am I marketing? Am I just trying to promote something real quick? Or am I trying to do a deeper branding so that this can be for longevity? So that you can think about, do I need to approach television? Do I need to approach radio? Do I need to approach newspapers, those that still exist? Do I need to do social media? Do I need to do word of mouth? Do I need to look for an influencer that's local or an influencer that's national before you begin to step into actually doing some things? Because what you don't have is time to waste. You don't have time to waste. And if you take advantage of an opportunity just because you know somebody in media, for example, and that didn't work out, it's no guarantee you'll get that opportunity again at all. So you want to have this information so that you can have your ducks in a row. You can know what you're talking about. You can have a clear direction and path that you're going so that you know what the outcome is that you're looking for. You're not, it could just be that you're trying to promote an event so that you can move some tickets. You don't need to brand anything in that respect. You just need that particular area where that event is, and those particular media outlets that coincide with the audience you're trying to reach, to then say, hey, this tree is falling in the forest, come hear it. But if you're not thinking about the end and working your way back, then it's quite possible the work that you're doing towards the end is taking you all over the place and back and forward and jagged, and it's a lot of time, energy, and in many cases, a lot of money, because sometimes you're required to purchase commercial advertisements for the right to this opportunity. Sometimes you're required to do a campaign like, hey, that one interview is not going to work, so we need you to do 12 commercials in addition to that one interview that we're going to give you so that you can continue to play it in the mind of the audience. Like, there is so much that goes into play that I need you to know about. So start with knowing, are you trying to market? Are you trying to promote? Or are you trying to brand for longevity? Okay. Once you do that, think about your purpose. Okay. Beyond that, ask yourself things like, am I promoting this event? Am I looking to gain followers? I know so many people who drop money in trying to get a blue check mark on social media, and they got 2 followers, but they paid somebody $5,000 to get a blue check mark, which, because that person understood coding, knew how to break into the code for that particular social media outlet and insert a blue check mark for your $5,000, which, once the platform found out, swiftly took it out. And you still got 2 followers. Like, that's not, no. Ask yourself these questions though, because that'll let you know which direction you need to take, right? Am I trying to expose my name? Or am I trying to build a brand? Am I trying to attract a new audience? Am I trying to make my current audience aware of an expansion or a new product? Am I trying to establish myself as an expert? Because in many cases, that may be another product that you have to purchase. Like, for example, once you write a book and publish a book, you've essentially become an expert by default in the mind of many consumers, I should say, and many industry execs. Like, oh, you wrote the book on it. Gotta get that person. Let's pay them that contract to come speak, to come train my corporation because they wrote the book. Yeah. So are those some things that you need to take into consideration? Are you trying to introduce your brand extension? One thing that you have to keep in mind, the one question that should never have the answer that is justifying you utilizing the media is, because I was invited. Like, why are you trying to get a radio interview? Because I was invited. Why are you trying to be interviewed by this new? Because I was invited. Why are you trying to get on? I don't care how popular you are. I don't care how in demand you are. I don't care how many units you've sold. People, of course, the more popular you are, will want you to be a part of their stuff because it helps them look popular. It's called borrowed credibility. But that doesn't mean it benefits you. In fact, because you've shifted into what's going to benefit them, you've now taken the power away from you and given it to them. So you get nothing out of the deal, and they reap from who you built and grown yourself to become. So never, ever, ever should your answer to why you're utilizing this media be because I was invited. It should be one of those questions you previously asked. Do I need to build my audience? That's why I'm going to this media outlet. Do I need to promote this new product extension? That's why I'm going to do that interview. Do I need to let them know that I have a new event coming out for this launch? That's why I'm going to do that television interview. That's why I'm going to promote. Oh, I'm doing this cycle and this series with this interview because I'm trying to brand myself as an expert. So I've got to do 5 interviews instead of the 1. Like, know your purpose. That's step 1. When you're approaching the media to utilize them, whether you're an author, an artist, a speaker, a coach, whatever the reason, a musician, whatever the reason, before you approach that media outlet, that media personality, that show host, that producer, know your purpose in approaching them in the first place. Okay? That's number 1. Understand, number 2, that media have their own purpose. Regardless of if you have a purpose, they have a purpose of their own that they're seeking to utilize you for. Okay? One reason is to remain FCC compliant. One thing a lot of folks don't know, and I'm speaking for the American media system, I cannot speak for international outlets, but within America, the FCC requires anyone with an FCC license to provide certain amount of time to the community. And that's why you hear, community affairs shows, PSAs, things of that nature, because they're required to report exactly what did you make available to the community? What was the benefit to the community? How did this align with community standards, et cetera, et cetera? So some people will invite you on, oh, you've got a nonprofit, a breast cancer nonprofit, and it's October, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Can you please come on my show and talk about your nonprofit? You may think, oh, wow, they're doing a great thing. They're going to help me promote my business. If you haven't answered step 1, which is, what is your purpose for this interview? Is this to do some fundraising for you? Is this to let people know that your organization exists? Is it that you're recruiting volunteers? If you don't know your purpose, then you're going to fall in line with their purpose, which is to remain compliant with the FCC. And they really could care less about your purpose. And if you get out of this interview what you need, because they got what they needed. And they're going to sign off on the FCC report and keep it moving. So make sure you understand your purpose because they have theirs. They also have to demonstrate community engagement. So if you're local, they want to show that, hey, we've got our pulse on the beat of the city, our finger on the pulse of the city or whatever. They want to know, they want to be able to show to their community that they're part of the community, even if they're completely disengaged during those opportunities that they have to connect with something hot that's happening. Like if everybody's talking about it, they got to be a part of it, right? And so that helps them demonstrate that they are connected to the community. We've got our finger on the pulse of it because the thing that you're talking about, we're talking about. That's for their benefit. They think you're going to listen to them talk about it as long as you're talking about it. Yeah. So that might not be what you need. They're also utilizing your content to grow their brand. I mean, after all, they're doing the same thing you're trying to do, right? They're trying to market what they have. They're trying to promote their events, their personalities, their shows, their show times. Like they're trying to promote as well. And they're trying to get that brand out there. This is the place to come when you want to know what's happening in the community. See, we have this community person. This is the place to come when you want to feel connected to those in our community. See, we've got somebody in this community. So you got to understand that they've got that purpose, that same conversation that you're doing for you and your business is what they're doing for theirs. What's my purpose? Yeah. Their purpose is also to build their, not yours, their brand. All right. They want to also add value to their sales relationships. Listen, if they know that you have 2 million followers and that when you come to their media outlet, you're going to post on your social media to your 2 million followers, listen to me live on such and such station at such and such time. Who does that benefit? You already have the 2 million followers. So let me tell you, it's not benefiting you, except to the extent that you get to get some content that you can put on your website, that you can get the word, you can use their media outlet to promote whatever you have going on, et cetera, right? But for them, They get to say, hey, during the 4 o'clock hour, 2 million more people will be listening. So let me bump up the price of these commercials during this time because we'll have the numbers to prove that that hour is worth it. I'm just letting you know how it works on the inside. All right. Just letting you know how it works on the inside. Also, they want to gain ratings the same way they want to push up the numbers for the money. They got to prove that that money's worth it. And they do that by ratings numbers. And so, hey, if they want you there for 5 shows in a row with your 2 million listeners, it's likely because their ratings go up, their money goes up. They've got a purpose. I need you to know your purpose. Okay. Same thing with increasing sponsorships and donations and things of that nature. And they're seeking to beat their competitor. I mean, come on now. If they got you and your 2 million followers listening to their station and not to the other one, or watching their television show and not watching somebody else's show, that's making them look better. They're winning. The goal is to make sure you're winning. Know your purpose because they know their purpose. Okay? It is super important that you know your purpose for approaching any media outlet, any media type. I don't care if it's newspaper, social media, radio, television, and anything else that's out there. Know your purpose because the media has their own purpose. All right? Again, this is going to have to be a series. Make sure you look for the video that talks about what to do before you go on your interview. Let's say all of this worked out, you know your purpose, you're well aware of theirs, right? But you still go after it, you get the interview. Whether you do it yourself or you have a PR firm that gets this opportunity for you. Now you've got an opportunity. What are you going to do with it? Just show up and start talking about what you do, what you're selling, when your event is? No. If you do that, you'll leave a lot on the table and you'll miss out on a lot. So make sure you look out for the video in this series that talks about what to do before you go on your interview. I got you covered. All of your communication education is all right here. All right. Don't forget, it's not what you say, it's what you communicate. Take care.